Good evening to those bored enough to watch. When I was a small child, I remember being introduced to a lot of Sega's older titles through a PS3 collection game that I had, and while I never really played any of them since I would be immediately hooked to playing Sonic the Hedgehog, I do remember giving Streets of Rage a chance, in which naturally being a small child playing a game that wasn't the funny blue hedgehog, the game didn't really leave an impression on me. However, all of these years later and having finally given some of other Sega's titles a chance, such as the Yakuza series, and really enjoyed them, being some of my favourite games, I decided to give Streets of Rage another chance, and I enjoyed it a lot as well. It seeks to improve what Golden Axe was trying to do while trying to differentiate itself just enough to be unique with its own world, soundtrack, and premise. The game's going to turn 33 years old this year, but despite its age, it's still a great game that holds up very well. And in this video, I aim to share the magic I found in this game with you, and hopefully encourage you to play this game as well. So, with that said, let's discuss Streets of Rage. In this video, I'll be mostly trying to focus on the gameplay rather than the story, but just to slightly mention it, the game's premise is that a crime syndicate took over a city, overthrowing the government and littering the streets with crime, and refusing to let this happen, Axel Stone, Blaze Fielding, and Adam Hunter, all with their respective movesets and statistics, all take to the Streets of Rage. I personally chose to play as Axel Stone for this video, and much like with Golden Axe, I don't personally see the incentive to play as the other characters, regardless of how much I may enjoy playing as some of them, as I have given it a chance in the past prior to the making of this video. The game is split into 8 rounds, fighting through a given location to then reach and fight a boss at the end. I personally quite liked how unique some of these locations are, such as round 3 taking place on a beach, being one of my favourite stages to play through for reasons I will discuss in due course. To begin with, the game immediately fixes a lot of the issues I personally felt were present in Golden Axe. For example, the game adds shadows to the character sprites which can be seen on the floor, allowing for one to see where they are on the stage and whether they're properly lined up with an enemy to land an attack. This makes it easier to land attacks and combos on enemies, which is something I also really liked. This game felt more fun to play, as there were many ways of strategically approaching the enemies with ways to maximize damage dealt and minimize damage taken. The combat is just generally more fun than the iteration seen in Golden Axe, and that is something I do attribute to the many technical improvements and the ones made in the design of this game. There are also many items you can pick up and use against enemies, such as steel pipes, bottles, bats, knives, and so many more, which really contributed to the fun, as it adds variety in the ways you can approach them. Additionally, a lot of the issues I had with the sound design in Golden Axe were fixed, as they more connectively play with one another, which once again is the product of much improved technology. One of the many things I just have to mention is the beautiful OST by Yuzo Koshiro, creating amazing tracks for this game, round 3 specifically being my favourite in the game. It creates a feeling of adrenaline, playing through this stage with the upbeat track in the background, which overall led the stage to leave the biggest impression on me, which is why it's one of my favourites. Overall, I think that Streets of Rage is still worth your time, as it's a great game with extremely fun combat and engaging gameplay. The music is still great to listen to, and overall, I think that the game aged really well all these years later, with newer players such as myself discovering the magic of this game and enjoying it regardless of its age, and I can only hope that you can do the same. Much like Golden Axe, the game is on Steam as well as console through Sega's Master System collection if you also want a bundle of their older games as well. So, if you can, I encourage you to please play Streets of Rage. So, there's the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you don't mind these smaller review videos while I work on the more bigger ones. I figure I should upload something to close the gap, so here we are. If you want to view the list of games I want to make videos about in the future, then you can always do so through the link in the description. Additionally, if you want to follow me, then my socials will be linked in the description, as well as any afterthoughts or messages I may want to add. With that, I haven't really got much else I want to say, so I'll see you all in my next video. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I wish you all a very pleasant evening.